All right, guys, it's 4:20 p.m. heading into the close here, Monday, April 1st, 2024. Had a good day today, made about 4,900 bucks in my recap there. There was one more account I made a few hundred on. Anyways, had a really good day. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look here quickly at what we maybe expect for the upcoming day ahead. Looking at ES, you've got the daily chart here to the far right, the weekly chart in the middle, and the monthly chart to the left. We're just going to cover the majors, the indices, gold, silver, bonds, and just kind of see what we've got in store for tomorrow. We're heading into the close now, so this analysis will be valid from the open at 6 p.m. Eastern in about an hour and a half, and I hope it helps you. Remember, just entertainment value to show you how Owings market analysis, which is what I use here. It's what you see on the charts, how it works. I am the funded futures fanatic because I love funded futures trading, but I do use my Owings market analysis, which is absolutely awesome. All right, so you can see on the ES here, we had a really big outside day. I mean, just a big day. I think a lot of people got trapped up here early in the day, and then we just kind of sold off the rest of the day. Not surprising because there was a big, huge sell-off in the debt market. We'll look at the bonds here in a moment, but that was pretty shocking what we saw in the bonds today. The question for ES here is, what do we expect? I mean, you're still pretty bullish overall in the monthly. I mean, you're squeezing higher here. The quarterly and the yearly still look bullish. The weekly still trending strongly. Everything still looks bullish. So, you know, I don't think this is going to be the crash everybody's waiting for. I think what we're seeing is just what we saw back here. So you see this weekly chart here. It's kind of similar. See how you're pushing higher, and then you run right into these two yellow dots, and then you correct. I think that's what's happening now. These yellow dots are very important short-term trend lines connecting those highs, these lows. You get that resistance level there. It's kind of what we're seeing right now. You can see if we connect those highs, those lows, get the same couple of yellow dots there. And so if we want to look and see what happened back here, now you can see on the daily chart there to the right, it was kind of a similar situation where you pull back here, kind of like what we saw today, and then you kind of just jumped around for a couple of days and then ultimately went higher. I kind of expect something like that now. The question is, you know, what do we expect for tomorrow? I would expect a choppy day. I don't expect this market to pick up support and push higher, although that's certainly possible. But I would probably look for rallies to continue to be capped as we work our way back down to these lows down here, maybe 52.60, maybe even a little lower, and then maybe stabilize and push higher. We'll see what happens once we get there, but I would look for a lot of resistance, you know, up into 5,300, 5,310 tomorrow. It's not an A+ setup. It's nothing I'm going to put on overnight here at the open. Sometimes I'll put trades on, you know, right at 6 p.m. because you can't hold through the close with the funded futures accounts. If I see something I really like, I will put it on and let it ride through Asia and London. But on this particular day, I don't see anything that I, you know, want to put on overnight. But I will be, you know, taking a look at how the market looks tomorrow during the London session. You know, see if we've got resistance up here, and if I can see on the hourly that resistance is holding up here, 5,300, 5,310, I might look for a short. We'll see. If we're way up here, then I'm wrong. I'll reassess. But that's how I'm kind of looking at the ES for tomorrow. Let's go ahead and look at the NQ. Let this load here for a sec. Yeah, I mean, the NQ is just also very choppy. I mean, look at this weekly chart the last 2 months. I mean, yeah, we're making new highs, but very choppy. We're not really making that much progress. We're still bullish overall. But the big outside bar here today on the daily chart. What do I expect for tomorrow? I really can't tell you. Kind of something similar to what I just outlined on ES, but be careful. I don't think it's a, you know, a good day to bet big on the indices tomorrow. I think if you've got, you know, some sort of a shorter term range bound strategy, you're probably going to want to use your range playbook. That's what I'll be using for tomorrow, my congestion playbook on the hourly chart. In other words, I'm not going to be, you know, looking for momentum plays breaking out either long or short. I'm going to have a slight bearish bias and basically look to continue to play the range because I think we're going to see, you know, more range, more chop. So just be careful. Let's go ahead and look at the Dow real quick. All right, here's the Dow, the YM, and these markets are still very bullish overall. When we look at the yearly chart, the quarterly chart, the monthly charts, they're all still very bullish. So, like I said, I don't think this is the beginning of any kind of a serious sell-off or anything. The Dow's been really, you know, kind of just whippy here lately. Haven't been trading it much. don't really know what I expect for tomorrow, because yeah, you've got a pretty bearish looking bar here on the daily, but you know, going short here against all this strength on the monthly, the weekly, the quarterly charts, I think you got to be careful. So I'm not going to do much with the Dow there. The Russell, let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the Russell. I haven't traded it much lately. All right, here's the Russell, kind of much of the same. It's the Russell's even harder to read right now, so I probably stay away from the Russell right now. I don't really know what to make of it. I think we're gonna have some better plays on bonds and gold and silver, maybe even crude for tomorrow. So let's go ahead and jump on over. Let's start with the bonds. Let's look at the 10-year Treasury note first. This is where we had all the action today. We had a major sell-off. I mean, look at this, guys. Look at the size of that daily move to the downside for the 10-year note. Now, remember, this is futures, so when these drop, rates are spiking. So we got a big push up in rates today. We got a big move, strength in the dollar. So we'll have to see, but I think, I think they'll stabilize. You've got a lot of support now here on the weekly chart at these old lows. You see you got a triple bottom here. Using OMA, Owings Market Analysis, you've got this really nice extension trend line right there also. So are we going to see follow through the downside? I don't think so, but let's wait and see. It's nothing I would, jump in and start buying here, but let's just see what the bond market does tomorrow. It'll tell us a lot whether or not these lows hold or break. For now, I kind of think they're going to hold. We might fish through these lows a little bit, but seems to be a lot of support down here. I don't know if it's, stealth yield curve control by the Fed buying all these bonds or what's going on, but got a lot of issuance coming out this year to fund the deficits. And I don't see bonds collapsing like a lot of people do. Now that might happen. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think there's going to be some support here. Let's take a look, because even though we broke this extension right here, which can be important, we didn't do it on big volume. Usually, if you're going to see a follow through, you're going to see some pretty big volume coming in. We just didn't have that volume. When I look at the yearly and the quarterly charts, they're kind of hard to read. Quarterly's got some support here. Monthly's got some support. Now, if it breaks, that's going to be a different story, right? But until it breaks, we have to say, as my mentor always said, support is support until broken. So that's the way I'm going to treat it for now. But still, nothing, I'm not looking at this going, hey, I got to put on a bonds trade, tonight at the reopen at 6 p.m. I'm not going to be doing it. I'm going to be applying the same sort of approach where I just wait and see what the overnight session did and see how I want to trade it tomorrow. We can look at the ultra bonds, which are basically, the longer term 30-year bonds. And you see something very similar. I would imagine on the ultra bonds here, we're probably going to, I think we're going to probably fish a little bit lower because you haven't gotten down to that extension yet, that pink dot here. I think we're going to want to get down to those lows because the 10-year is already down there. So the ultras will probably want to catch down. So that might be a good play for tomorrow. You've got all this broken support, these old extensions here, these pink dots. You've got the true average right there, that beige dot right at the envelope bottom in green. So you got a lot of stuff kind of coming in there that I would expect to be pretty strong resistance anywhere up in here, 127.5, 127.6, 7, anywhere in there, the low 127s, and then maybe look for a little bit of follow through, some stabilization. But I'm not looking for a collapse. Again, because you don't see big volume there. So it's really important. But I will be looking maybe to play the short side on the ultra bonds tomorrow if we get any kind of a pop into that resistance zone. So that'll be interesting. Let's take a look at gold here. Let it load. We'll finish off with gold, silver, and crude. So here's the gold market. You see we had a big gap up after the Easter holiday. And now the yearly's looking bullish. The quarterly's, looking bullish. I mean, the monthly on gold, super bullish. I mean, you blasted all new highs, all-time highs. You smashed through that extension resistance, broke those highs. So you got a lot of support, but we may need to pull back a little bit here first. I wouldn't be buying up here. Overall bullish on gold for sure, but may need to see some sort of a correction. Would I short this here? Nah, but I wouldn't be buying it either. So I'm just going to kind of stay patient on gold and, just wait and see what happens. Now, silver looks a little bit better. Let's go ahead and load silver from the short side, because you'll see the difference on the monthly chart with silver when it loads here. See the monthly chart there? We're in congestion, meaning cycling between the lows and the highs here. in silver, right? And then we went back up to these highs. You've got that extension right there in congestion. There's a lot of resistance right there. The weekly is a lot weaker than gold. We're rolling over, trying to go for congestion entrance down on the weekly. So you've got a lot of resistance right up there at about 25.60 and change at that weekly extension envelope top. I'm going to really be keeping a close eye on that level up there tomorrow to short, especially if bonds are under pressure and the dollar continues to catch a bid, and if stocks are under pressure as well. Mark those correlations down in your game plan score sheet for tomorrow. If we see a push up like this in silver into that 25.60, 25.70, that's where I might be looking to short. You could see a punch up and then a big close, something like that, back down. You could see a big wicked sort of outside reversal tomorrow in silver potentially. Just keep an eye on that 25.60. Let's see the exact level. 25.67 right up there. You can see that on the daily over there. So that's what I'm going to be watching very carefully for silver for tomorrow. One of my top markets to watch. And of course, I'm not going to live stream tomorrow again because I got too much stuff going on personally right now. I'm just busy with a lot of stuff. I don't have time, but I am trading anyways while I'm kind of busy doing stuff around the house. And that's why I'll upload my results at the end of the day like I did today. But this is going to be one of my picks that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. So just want to bring that to your attention as well. Let's go ahead. I'm not going to look at copper or platinum or any of those right now. Let's go ahead and finish off with crude oil, and then maybe just a quick look at the euro against the dollar, just to see what we see for any potential dollar strength. Because remember, all these markets are, they feed into each other. You got to look at them as, one cohesive whole, right? I think you get the best setups not only by using a good technical set of tools like Owings Market Analysis is what I like to use, but also by then, plugging in your technical tools into the market correlations and just kind of, trying to pick the low-hanging fruit. Silver could be that low-hanging fruit. You don't want to be messing around with the indices when they're chopping around, when maybe you could take a great trade on silver tomorrow, depending, right? All right, so here's crude oil. We're loading, crude monthly here looks very bullish, pushing higher, weekly kind of grinding higher. Of course, I think Israel just did a major escalation today, attacking the Iranian embassy in Syria, I believe it was. So, crude certainly seems to have the wind at its back right now, just kind of pushing higher. So I think crude's pretty darn bullish. If you get any kind of a pullback down here tomorrow, 82.80, 82.40, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of support if you even get a pullback. So I think crude's going to be very bullish as well. Let's go ahead and just finish off here with the dollar. We'll look at the euro futures contract. And again, when I have more time, I do a very in-depth analysis across all the major futures markets for people who are taking my course at owingstrading.com. And we basically just keep our eye on everything that's going on across all the major futures markets, which is great. All right, so here's the euro US. The quarterly and the yearly chart looks a lot like the bonds. Looks like there's just something kind of holding up. You look at the monthly here. I think there's a lot of support here. I think you're going to continue to see a lot of chop. The weekly's heading lower, but it's a lot like bonds where, you're just reapproaching these lows. Those are very correlated right now, the dollar and the bond market. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us try to push a little bit lower, maybe down toward the low 107s down in here. I wouldn't be buying the euro here, but I would be looking for some stabilization, just like the bond market. So that's how I'm going to play it for tomorrow, and we'll continue to keep a close eye on it every single day. And when I live stream, guys, we'll go over all this in detail every day as I'm trading in front of you, and you'll be able to see how I use it, live in real time. But I think tomorrow, if I have to pick a, sort of a top pick, I don't really see anything I'm crazy about. Of course, I'm going to trade, but I want to see what London and Asia and London do with these markets in the overnight session. And I will be keeping a very close eye on that 25.67 level in silver, that resistance level, especially if, let's say, the euro is continuing to be under pressure, meaning the dollar is getting stronger, meaning this chart's going down. If this chart's going down and bonds continue to leak lower and silver is trying to push higher while the stock market's also leaking lower, that would set up a great divergent short for silver. So that's what I'm going to be paying attention to. All right. Take care, you guys. Subscribe. Make sure you check back in with the channel so you don't miss important updates and get good analysis that can help you grow your futures funding. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.